Angela, how do you encounter this issue as a city councillor?
So through the city, we have taken on the declaration. Sault Ste. Marie has declared intimate partner violence an epidemic. We have encouraged the province to do so. As a councillor and as a woman myself, I have taken it upon myself also to work with Angie's Angels, a locally formed group that is speaking on behalf of Angie Sweeney after her death. And we have put forward a motion to support Bill C-332 to amend the criminal code to include coercive control. So we are trying our best in the small ways that we can affect municipally. You know, we're using our voices to the provincial and federal governments to try and put an end to this epidemic.
You're one of 95 municipalities across the province of Ontario that have declared this an epidemic. And there's been, I guess there's been some controversy about the use of that word epidemic. Do you want to comment on that? Is it appropriate to call this an epidemic?
Absolutely. I think, yes, I hear what the province is saying, but the health and well-being of our children, our youth, and our women is a health and safety concern, for sure. And so I think it falls right in line with being called an epidemic.
It was, I was just going to say, it was the first recommendation that came out of the Renfrew County inquest into the deaths of the 3 women in Renfrew County. And it was one that the jury, who are just ordinary people, they listened to 3 weeks of testimony from experts and witnesses, and they came up with that recommendation.
That was the language they wanted used.
That was the language that they wanted used. That was the first one. And women's organizations and, you know, people working in violence against women organizations really took on the task of, you know, pushing that forward. So it started off with the Lanark County Council declaring it an epidemic. They thought, well, fine, if the government doesn't want to do that, then there's no reason why communities can't take it up and make the declaration. Over the couple of years since that inquest, there is at least 95 communities that have made that declaration so far. And I think even though it's largely symbolic, it's saying to women who are in situations where they're being abused that their community members and their council, their leaders, that we have your back, right?
Well, if I understand it as well, part of the motivation behind this, Inspector, was to say to governments and quasi-governmental organizations, of which you are working for one, this is a problem and you need to pay attention. Do you infer the same thing?
Oh, absolutely, it's a problem. Anyone that's hung up on the word epidemic, in my opinion, is arguing semantics. This is a problem that needs to be dealt with. And as a police services organization takes this very seriously, we've recently implemented new measures to try and improve safety for victims. We implemented a callback system so that any call that officers attend to that don't come in as domestic in nature or IPV in nature, but when they arrive there and find out that maybe it's a property dispute or a noise complaint or something of that nature, within a couple of days, an officer calls the complainant back to give them another opportunity to voice if anything did happen, if there was a criminal event, so then we can then follow up and make sure people are safe.
Are these new tools working?
So far, yes. This started May 5th. The chief was at the Algoma Council on Domestic Violence. I believe Councillor Caputo was with him, and he implemented it then. There were approximately 253 calls that we've made since then, 17 investigations launched, and 4 people have been charged with domestic related offenses since then.
How long have you been with the service?
Over 23 years.
23 years plus?
Yes.
Is it worse now than it was?
It's hard to say. Our numbers are declining. If you look at the stats locally from 2018 till now, we're down about 350 calls, which is pretty significant for our service. But I think that's due to underreporting on behalf of the victims.
In which case, Stephanie, why is there still so much of this?
I think because we haven't taken a full society view of this, or we haven't been working as a full society, and that's what's going to take to make a difference, right? It's all of the social services responsibilities, it's also the responsibilities of each of us, that if we notice something going on with a friend or a neighbor, that we go out and we ask, are you okay? Or you know, sometimes we think, well, you know, we don't want to interfere or we don't want to get involved. But I think, I mean, we can see with the tragedies that it's so important that we do get involved and we do ask and that we do talk to our council about it. And you know, if we need help, get help. And I think that by all of us, you know, talking to our neighbors or letting people know that if we notice that something seems not okay, they might not feel alone. And then they might know that it's okay to reach out for help and support.
I think something further that I always like to touch on is education. I don't think we've got to a point in society yet where we're properly educating young men that this is not okay. And I don't think that we're quite there yet in educating young women that a red flag is a red flag. Move on. You know, we can't fix everyone. You know, women historically have that job as the fixer. And I think further educating young kids is really the way out of this.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.